From high school football to a Call of Duty champion, KiSMET's journey is one of talent and dedication. This aggressive SMG player has dominated the CDL, earning MVP honors and etching his name in CDL history with his clutch plays and highlight reel moments. But his path to the top wasn't easy. He faced setbacks, battled through the ranks, and ultimately proved himself as a force in the league, even earning the nickname Bulldog. In this video, I'll look at KiSMET's rise in Call of Duty Esports from the early days to now being on Los Angeles Guerillas M8s.
He's just repositioning so well. Easily on the time, pausing the clock. And while he's having himself a serious
KiSMET was introduced to Call of Duty at a young age through his older brother, and they formed a connection through video games. At first, KiSMET only played regular multiplayer with no knowledge of its competitive side until someone he met online named O Perfection O told him about a website called Game Battles where you could play wagers and online tournaments. After learning about competitive COD in the 3rd grade, he started watching it and became hooked. He began watching people like Nadeshot and Scump, even forming his friend group around competitive COD, starting to play Game Battles in Black Ops 1, and grinding the leaderboards. By the time Black Ops 2 rolled around, KiSMET was becoming more invested in watching competitive. He wanted to be like them and knew he could get there one day if he put in the work. He continued grinding and getting better, eventually forming a small team to compete at 2 LAN tournaments in Advanced Warfare. He didn't place well at these local LANs, but he knew he had a deep passion for this just from being there. And then in Black Ops 3, at the age of 16, he started making really good money from S&D wagers while still in high school. At the same time, he was playing high school football, balancing school and grinding COD tournaments, and even his football coaches found out he played COD competitively and were pretty impressed by how much money he was making.
I was playing, and at the time when I was playing football was the year, like the Black Ops 3 era. Yeah, was like when I started like taking football more seriously, but also COD more seriously. And my coaches found out that I played Call of Duty. I would get done with practice, go home, shower, get on Black Ops 3, and I used to play 1v1 tournaments. There was a 1v1 tournament on UMG every night at 9. And at the time, those tournaments, like you won each one, that was like $1,000 or something. Yeah, we would always do like our pre-game, or not pre-game, like pre-practice stretches. Yeah, and he would come over to me and be like, Tinsley, you know, how's Call of Duty going? I'd be like, good. Every day, like he found out that I made money, he would come up to me and he'd be like, you know, how many tournaments you win last night? Yeah. And I'd tell him and he'd be like, Jesus, dude. Like,
he realized that Call of Duty becoming a career was possible based on the money he was making from tournaments, but he just didn't have the connections to get started just yet. And it wouldn't be until the World War II season in 2018 that KiSMET started playing with better players and turning some heads in the pro scene. Hoping to impress at his first LAN event, KiSMET and his newly formed team fought through a deep open bracket, achieving an impressive top 32 placement at the CWL Atlanta Open. Now you could just join these tournaments as a random team, which made making the Pro League way easier for up-and-coming talent. Later, under Hydra Gaming, they battled through the open bracket again, but only finished in the top 40 at the Seattle Open. But KiSMET performed well in these, and recognizing the talent in him, Phantoms, Tish, and Gravity picked him up. Under Conquest Esports, the team surprised many by advancing through the open bracket and into the pool play at CWL Anaheim, turning heads with an impressive performance against pro teams like Optic and Splice. Unfortunately, they still finished in the top 24 at this event and had to split up ahead of the last chance qualifier for CWL champs. Seeking a team with enough pro points, KiSMET ultimately teamed up with Knight, Nagafen, and BL Fire, but unfortunately they were unable to qualify for champs, losing to a European amateur team. After suffering a close Game 5 against the Lightning Pandas, he did not qualify for champs, but he kept his spirits high and kept on grinding. At the time Black Ops 4 came out, KiSMET had graduated high school and picked up a job at Moe's while still competing. One day while working, he received a call from General, a Call of Duty pro on Enigma 6, and offered KiSMET a spot on the team with a salary involved. He accepted their offer and eventually quit his job to focus solely on COD, and this team experienced inconsistent performances online early in the game. They even brought in Sender as a coach, but finished with a disappointing top 32 at CWL Las Vegas. However, this placement was just enough to qualify for the CWL Pro League qualifier, and leading up to the qualifier, the team began to improve online and carried that performance into the qualifier. Even though they were placed with what many considered the toughest pool coming into the event, they finished with a 5-1 record. This allowed them to qualify for the CWL Pro League, where they would go 3-4 in their first 2 weeks with impressive performances from KiSMET, and was just getting his feet wet playing with E6. After this event, E6 E6 changed their roster to General, GodRx, Mayhem, and Brezzy alongside KiSMET, and going into the biggest tournament of the year, CWL Champs 2019, E6 shocked the world with a 3-0 finish in group play, then making an impressive bracket run before losing to Optic Gaming, then LA Thieves to finish in 4th overall, earning $110,000. And just at 19 years old, KiSMET was turning heads with his incredible gun skill and excellent placements despite being new to the scene. But things were about to change. Now that Black Ops 4 was over, KiSMET was on top of the world, but he didn't have the right connections to find his way onto a team for the newly installed Call of Duty League. At first, the Enigma 6 team was going to join Los Angeles Guerillas, but things fell through before the season began. Eventually, there were very few roster spots left, and the only team he could get in contact with was Paris Legion. His initial experience with Paris was rocky, to say the least. He didn't even know who his teammates were to start the season, and found out through leaks in the community, but he soon found out that his teammates were Luca, Dens, Shox, and Zed. The team moved to Bobigny, France to set up their facility and started playing from there. Paris began the season at the bottom of everyone's rankings. They quickly proved all the doubters wrong, and at launch weekend they beat Optic Gaming Los Angeles and their European rival London Royal Ravens.
Played a lot better. We wanted to prove a lot here. A lot of people have us like as the worst team right now, and I'm telling you we're not. We'll be one of the top teams really soon, and we're going to stop being slept on.
In week 2, they finished second in their group and nearly made it to the group finals, but they were reverse swept by Chicago Huntsmen. Then COVID-19 hit, and KiSMET faced a really challenging point in his life, and both his performance and the team's gameplay suffered for the remainder of the season. They struggled to find success online through the Modern Warfare season, becoming one of the league's worst teams, and they once again finished last at their home series, continuing the trend of home series hosts performing poorly. In week 11, the Legion won their first match in over 3 months, but then lost in the qualifier match to Atlanta FaZe, finishing in the top 6 yet again. After a long season, Paris finally showed some life. They defeated LA Guerillas, Subliners, and Royal Ravens to make their first grand finals appearance, where they would go on to lose against Dallas Empire. They ended the season in 10th place and entered the COD League Championship in losers round 1, going on to defeat Seattle Surge before falling to London Royal Ravens 1-3 in the next round. They finished the tournament in the top 10, and this would be KiSMET's first time at CDL Champs in 2020. After the Modern Warfare season, KiSMET had a falling out with the owners of Paris Legion, eventually getting dropped from the roster. Going into the Cold War season, there were no rosters for him to join, so he found a good challenger spot on Built by Gamers, an organization that KiSMET speaks highly about to this day. He started the season with GodRx, Pander, and Mox, who was switched out for Pentagram, and he played in challengers for the rest of the Cold War season. It was an okay season for KiSMET, with 2 Challenger Cup wins and a second place finish in the North American Challengers Finals in August 2021. Despite being optimistic about his odds of joining a team, he didn't receive any offers for the Vanguard season. So for 2022, he had to start the year back in Challengers and try and make another push to join the league. KiSMET wasn't playing around this time, and in the Vanguard season, he was serious about earning a spot on a CDL team by the end of the season, so that's exactly what he did. The Cold War season prepared him for this moment, and his team completely took over at the beginning of 2022. At the start of the Vanguard season, KiSMET joined alongside Havoc, Brezzy, and General, who were well-respected players in their own right, and they had one of the best runs in Challengers history. They jokingly called themselves Texas Nation, but to kick off the season, they went on a 7-peat, winning nearly every Challengers Cup and Elite stage over those 2 months. After the 2022 Minnesota Open, despite placing top 6, CDL teams were looking for an upgrade, and Texas Nation were some of the first to get the call up. New York Subliners were having some problems of their own at the start of the Vanguard season, especially having pacing problems on the map to keep up with the rest of the league. Despite these poor placements, they needed an upgrade from Neptune and initially inquired about Havoc, but things didn't work out with him, so they decided to go for KiSMET. Paul X was actually a big advocate for KiSMET to join because they were playing 8s and he loved his playstyle, and instantly after joining NYSL, the team culture changed and they shocked the CDL at the Pro-Am Classic. This was KiSMET's first event back in the league, and he was ready to show out. So with KiSMET on board, NYSL made a strong comeback in the 2022 Vanguard Pro-Am Classic, and KiSMET's contributions were vital to their success. They would go on to win this tournament, turning a lot of heads in the league, and then would go on to play at their home event from July 14th to July 17th, 2022 at the King's Theater in Brooklyn. They would go on to play second at this event and secure their spot at COD Champs 2022, and what appeared to be a challenging season to start. KiSMET and Paul X had turned things around for the team, and at COD Champs, they finished finished in the top 6 with an $80,000 payout. However, there were still issues within the roster stemming from the beginning of the season, and NYSL had an insane fallout after COD Champs. I'm not going to go in depth on the drama, but if you want some good classic COD drama, check out the Flank episode titled Crim6 Exposes NYSL. KiSMET had a pretty solid season. He had a few rough patches here and there, but proved to be a consistent slayer and fixed those pacing issues that NYSL was having. Following this fallout from NYSL, KiSMET mainly kept his opinion to himself, and Crim6 and Paulex were crashing out after they were dropped from the roster. NYSL moved forward from this, and it was the best move they could have made going into the MW2 season, and we're about to see why. Going into MW2, NYSL decided to add Skies and Priesta to the SMG duo of KiSMET and Hydra. They needed a change of culture once again, and this roster gave them exactly that. Initially, they were ranked 9th through 12th at the beginning of the season from public opinion, and they felt like they had something to prove. They had a great start to the MW2 season, winning Major 1 after placing 9th in the Major 1 qualifiers. NYSL established themselves as a dangerous team for the season and felt on top of the world. Unfortunately, they had a rough patch for Major 2 and 3, which proved to be incredibly challenging, resulting in disappointing placements. However, these experiences prepared them for success later in the season. And entering into Major 4, an event held without fans in attendance, NYSL delivered a significantly better performance, placing 4th after a solid bracket run that further boosted their confidence for a successful Major 5.
KiSMET says, if who can do it, I can do it too. Free first blood. There's the second KiSMET, the highlight reel for number 3. Top 5 plays. How you doing?
Give him the ace! Oh, God! That was...
And during Major 5, the squad dominated by making a loser's bracket run and not dropping a single series throughout the entire tournament.
And New York play on Hotel. The last 3 games have come down to just mere seconds. Can Ultra make it a contest fest again? It looks like it. KiSMET for 3. Get some assistance. Okay. Everybody, give it to the Bulldog. Away. And there it is.
Right up until the grand finals where they defeated Atlanta FaZe, and they came into COD Champs as one of the top teams in the game. To start COD Champs 2023, they beat Minnesota Rocker, Optic Texas, and would go on to face Toronto Ultra in the winners finals. Ultra would come out to play and got a 3-0 victory over NYSL, but the real drama came with a post-game interview where Scrap said this about NYSL.
You know, shut down Hydra, team's pretty ass, so... You know, it is what it is.
This statement rubbed them the wrong way, especially for KiSMET, Hydra's SMG duo.
Then I heard Scrappy's interview afterwards, and I'm going to smoke him tonight.
And now that Scrap had called them out by name, the players felt like they had even more to prove, and were not going to let that statement slide. They beat a strong Atlanta FaZe team 3-1 in the losers finals, and now the inevitable matchup against Toronto Ultra once again. Before the series started, KiSMET had some words for Scrap and the rest of the Ultra squad, and it was clear he was taking this matchup personal, and NYSL did not take that lightly. Going into 2023 Champs Sunday, NYSL had one of the most dominant performances in CDL history, winning every single match.
Now safe and sound. Wait a minute, Scraps here. KiSMET! Oh my God! Onto the point. 24-10. KiSMET cut him down. Gets another.
My God, Matt, you're going fucking crazy.
Skies and KiSMET now. The pressure mounting. Can the young rookie do battle now?
I'm gonna keep it cool. There was an interview, you know, he talked his talk. I let the gameplay speak, and it was a flawless sweep. So,
Because, ladies and gentlemen, your MVP of the Call of Duty Champs is KiSMET!
They went on to beat Toronto 5-0, and KiSMET had to let them know. On top of that, KiSMET won the CDL Champs with a monstrous performance across all game modes to lead them to victory. And this is where we see 99 Kiz at his best. Like I said, his Champs KD, especially in S&D, was insane. He had a 1.45. And now, just within a few years of competing, the Bulldog KiSMET showed what he was truly made of when the pressure is on, and cemented his name in COD history as a world champion. You would think they would keep the same roster going into MW3, but that would not be the case. Sib became a free agent and NYSL seen it as kind of like a pack-a-punch opportunity, so Priesta was the odd man out now for Sib, who was formerly on Surge. And the Subliners MW3 season was characterized by inconsistency. They began the season with a strong 6-1 record with their new addition, securing a second seed for the tournament. However, their performance at Major 1 did not meet expectations. They faced an early elimination in the first round of the finals, but they bounced back at Major 2 qualifiers, getting another 6-1 record, having the best map win rate at 74%. However, they stumbled at Major 2, finishing 4th after losing to Optic Texas.
Good point. Good point. On point. Hold time. Wobbing. Get there.
Major 3 turned out to be a low point for the Subliners, kind of similar to how it was in the MW2 season, ending with a 3-4 record.
They know what's up. They know where every player is on the map.
Yeah, the question is now, can you overwhelm KiSMET quickly? No, that's a problem. KiSMET, the second.
This slump continued into the Major, where they again finished 4th place following a loss to Optic Texas. And as they entered into the season's final stage, I miss when we had 5 majors, but that's besides the point. Subliners needed a strong performance to improve their seeding for champs. They ended Major 4 qualifiers with a 4-3 record, securing the 7th seed, but everything changed for them at Major 4. They were the only top 4 team to not win an event up until Major 4, but they went on a remarkable lower bracket run.
A few stuns ringing out towards the A site. And despite the fact they don't have trophies, they do have a first blood.
That's a problem.
They got the bomb down, and they got a 99 Kiz, the Thorn, in their side.
It's a serious problem. This is such a big problem. This is a massive issue! And you
culminating in a victory against Atlanta FaZe in the grand finals, and this win proved them crucial momentum heading into the CDL championship. At champs, the Subliners maintained their strong form by defeating Seattle Surge and Atlanta FaZe in the winners bracket. However, they fell to Optic Texas in the upper bracket finals and were ultimately eliminated by the same team in grand finals. They had an underwhelming performance, losing 5-1 to Optic, who had the home crowd cheering them on at every turn. But despite this disappointing performance, their performance at champs showed their resilience and being able to bounce back from an inconsistent season. KiSMET consistently performed well, particularly in Search and Destroy and Control, and he played a crucial role in their Major 4 victory.
With the break is you only need 5 to go, but we are ramping up for a wild finish. Minute 20 remaining on the play clock. Don't think that's going to come into play, but
they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. KiSMET was trying to flip out. KiSMET don't find 2, and that might be the double to end the game. Finds a triple. Give them all 4.
Now, I don't think he was as good as he was in MW2, and he definitely had some rough patches throughout MW3, but the gun skill never left him, and he continued to build his confidence through the season, leading up to the Esports World Cup, where NYSL was now called Cloud9. So KiSMET and the rest of the guys went over to Saudi Arabia, successfully navigated through the group stage with a 2-1 record, securing a playoff spot, but their journey ended in the quarterfinals with a loss to Optic Gaming. This disappointing finish marked the end of KiSMET's time in New York, and the entire team disbanded after this one. Many questions were still up in the air for the Black Ops 6 season, and KiSMET was on the hunt for a new team after Hydra went on to join LA Thieves. But the end of the Modern Warfare 3 season also marked a new beginning of a team in the CDL known as the Los Angeles Guerillas M8s. Gotaga, a former COD pro, joined the league as a French organization merged with the LAG brand, probably one of the worst names in CDL history, and they would go on to pick up the former 2023 MW2 champ squad, KiSMET, Skies, Priesta, and instead of Hydra, they had Lens, another rising star from France. This was a great opportunity for KiSMET and the other guys because they're proven winners, and Lens can provide some serious slaying power to the team. The Guerillas encountered challenges early in the season. They struggled to find consistency and maintain their momentum, and their performance in the qualifiers leading up to the first major was underwhelming to say the least. They had 2 wins against Cloud9 and Vegas Falcons, but that also came with some concerning losses, especially for the new French fans. The major turned out to be an incredible tournament for LAG despite their 9th through 12th placement, and you're like, Payback, how could you say that? They did have a bad tournament, but the one thing that was great for them was to see the support that they had from the French crowd.
It wasn't all that close, but we got the flags out. We got the chants starting.
Shirts are going to be coming off.
Dude, it's for gentlemen. They play tomorrow. They don't even play today. I love it. I
mean, this crowd was electric. They still showed the guys love, and that's what it's all about. Obviously, they want to win a tournament, so they made some necessary roster changes throughout Major 2 qualifiers, which have undoubtedly impacted their performance. They recently picked up Lunars and shifted Skies out for Priesta. They've been like bouncing back and forth, but KiSMET has really come into his own over the past few weeks, emerging as a dangerous SMG player to watch. He's been unreal and is looking to get back into that 99 Kiz form.
Getting over and over and over again. You feel like eventually Miami will answer with a hole.
No, that's
they need to.
Yeah, even when, you know, just looking back at P2. But speaking of that, again, another multi-kill from this man, 99 Kiz, 18-9 right now. He's got the AR, he's got the...
We'll see if Miami's able to get a break, but 99 Kiz wants none of it.
Motivated.
6 straight, 7 straight. Kiz is eating right now.
And if the team can get on board and figure things out, they could turn things around just like KiSMET did with NYSL during the Vanguard season. He's played really well in S&D, especially during the Major 2 qualifiers, and they're getting prepared to play for their second time on LAN. But only time will tell if this team can put it together, but KiSMET is looking to be back into his final form, and I'm excited to see how things play out for Black Ops 6. So with that, this is KiSMET's incredible journey from humble beginnings to becoming a dominant force in the Call of Duty League. From his early days grinding game battles to breakout performances in Black Ops 6, KiSMET's dedication and talent have always been evident. His journey through the Call of Duty League, including his time with Paris Legion and New York Subliners, has been filled with triumphs and challenges. Despite facing setbacks, KiSMET has consistently proven himself as a top-tier player, culminating in his championship victory in 2023. And as he continues to evolve and dominate the competitive scene, KiSMET's legacy in the Call of Duty League will endure. If you guys enjoyed this video, you gotta check out my recent video where I talk about Jodis Sieve's story in Call of Duty Esports and how he got onto Toronto Ultra this year. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.